Hey guys, so yeah, tomorrow I'm brewing the chocolate milk stout, and so I need to do a yeast starter because it's a real high gravity beer. It's going to be like 1.091 is where it should be on the gravity, which means I'm definitely going to need a lot of yeast cells to do this. I've got 2 cups of water heating up on the stove here, and also I've got a stir plate here with a Erlenmeyer flask. So the idea is that we want this to sit overnight and ferment. We're basically making like a miniature beer to bring up more of the yeast cell count. And I also have these 2 packets of yeast. They are the Safe Brew S33 yeast. The homebrew shop guy, Ray, he gave me 2 packets because they're actually expired. Not by much. What are they? September. So I definitely have to do a yeast starter, and he gave me 2 packs, and he actually gave them to me for 75% off each packet. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. Another thing, my my dry light malt extract turned into a big rock. If you have a real humid environment, this stuff doesn't, it'll start to harden up on you if you don't keep it out of a humid area, and it's almost impossible here in Houston to do that, so whatever. So anyways, I went and got a fresh bag of Breeze Pilsen Light dry malt extract, and the reason why we use light is because all we really want to do is get enough in there to feed the yeasts, and but we don't want this to really affect the flavor of the beer that we're making. And so most yeast starters they use a dry malt extract for that, and it's a light one. So what we're going to do, I'll go ahead and clip this open on the corner, just a small hole. And what I want to do is I've got a half cup measuring cup, and I'm going to go ahead and fill it up with this dry malt extract, and try not to make a mess when you're doing it. It's very easy to make a mess. Just going to set it aside. We're just waiting for this water to come up to a boil. Okay, the water is up to a somewhat boil here, so I'm going to go ahead and add the light malt extract into it. We got to stir it and stir it and stir it so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan, and this stuff clumps up really easy. So we're just going to give it just stir it in real good. And this is, you want this to cook for about 10 minutes. And once that's done, then we'll put it in our Erlenmeyer flask. Second of all, get my stir bar out of there and put it over here. So yeah, it just looks like it's pretty well mixed and dissolved now. Now it may try to boil. It may try to boil over on you. So if it does, just simply lift it off the heat, and that will help it settle down. Or turn the heat down on your stove. Yeah, it's steaming pretty good right now. And that's what it should look like when it's going. I'm going to let it boil for right about 10 minutes. This one may not actually try to boil over, or I spoke too soon. Maybe not. I think we're okay. But yeah. You can give it stirs if you want occasionally. It's foaming a bit, but no big deal. Don't need the whisk anymore. Okay, while that's going, I want to go ahead and sanitize my yeast packets so I don't introduce any bacteria or anything into the mini beer that we're making, and my stir bar. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And this piece of foil, I'll also use this piece of foil to cover the flask when I'm done sanitizing everything. So let's go ahead and sanitize it. Just flip everything over. It's always good to have your sanitizer in a little bottle like this. All right, so our mini beer is made, and we're going to pour it into our flask. So wear an oven mitt for this part, please, and be very careful. Yay! Did that with no issue. Now, some of you may know and some of you may not know, the reason why I use an Erlenmeyer flask is they're designed for high fluctuation in temperature, and they won't crack and break when you pour a hot liquid into them when they're cold, or vice versa. So that's why you should always use one of these. I'll actually put the link down at the bottom for where you can pick one of these up, and also my stir plate. I'll put the link at the bottom where you can pick one of these up as well. So now I've got a bowl of ice here. I'm going to put some water in here, and the idea is we want to cool this down fairly rapidly, enough to pitch the yeast into it. So we're going to do that now. Okay, I've got a bowl of ice water, like I said, and some ice. I'm going to dip the flask down there, and we're going to cool this wort down like you would be chilling it if you were going to pitch yeast for like a big beer. And try not to burn yourself. I know I'm doing it without a glove, but I'm keeping the wort, because it is a wort, keeping it from splashing out where my hands are. So we're just going to do this probably for about 3 or 4 minutes. We just want to cool this down fast. Okay, so this is now chilled down to pitchable temperature, and I'm going to go ahead and take the sanitized stir bar and put it in there like so. And we're going to set it on the stir plate, kind of move it around until we know it grabs that bar. And we're going to turn the dial on here. You'll see that's at full blast. We're not really going to run it at full blast. We're actually going to run it probably about right about midways, like so. I've got a sanitized pair of scissors, and I've got my sanitized yeast pack. We're going to go ahead and pitch the first packet in there. Okay. And we're going to take the second pack and do the same. All right. So what's going to happen is we're going to have a miniature fermentation go on overnight, and by morning time we will have this fully fermented out, and we'll have a whole lot of yeast cells that I can use for my beer. And The reason why I'm doing this, I know I said earlier because the yeast cell count is too low, so we need to boost it. The reason why you want to do this is if you stress your yeast out, if there's not enough yeast, you might end up with like a stuck fermentation, or it may not ferment your beer all the way through, and you don't want that because then you have to pitch another batch of yeast in there and it just takes up your time. So doing it this way, you're guaranteed to have a good enough yeast cell count that you can just have a smooth fermentation and not have to worry about any problems later. I haven't personally had any stuck fermentations ever, and so far so good. But yeah, but that's why we're doing this, so we're guaranteed not to have a stuck fermentation or an incomplete one. So now I've got this sheet that I've sanitized. We're going to take it and I'm going to dump off the excess. We're going to take it and we're going to put it right over top, like so. And take it off of the stirrer for a second here. You don't want it super tight. You just want enough so like foreign particles don't fall in it. It's okay for air to come in underneath, but you don't want anything falling into it. So we're going to set this back on. Once we get it going here, I'll slow it down to midway. Now the guy that made this stir starter, he makes them and sells them. Obviously they're just little project boxes, and he's made it an affordable starter for brewers that don't have a lot of money to really dump on a professional hardcore starter. But this thing, using this, honestly, you don't really need anything else. This works perfect, and you're only using it once in a while. Unless you brew big beers all the time, then you're going to use it a lot. But anyway, he sells them and he guarantees them for life. So I guess as long as he's alive and it breaks, he'll replace it. And like I said, I'll put the link below. And also, he sells both flasks and stir starters, stir plates. I believe he still sells flasks, but yeah. But anyways, I also have a Facebook page, in case you haven't seen it. Just go to Facebook, the Brew-Q. I'll put the link to the Facebook page down below as well. Go in there, like it, check it out. Feel free to post your own beers on there. Feel free to post anything that you cook out. You know, the page is an open forum, and I wanted it to be just like brewers interacting with each other and me interacting with brewers. Kind of like a forum, but being able, you know, post your pictures on there, share what you're doing. I'd be really interested to see what everybody else is up to. But that's the end of this video. This is just, you know, stir starter introduction. I hope it was educational enough, and we'll see you next time.